spending more and more time on Facebook and Twitter and things like that. By the way, I don't care if it's something else going forward, but the can of worms has been opened. We will be connected to each other, and we will talk and communicate. I don't care what you call it, forever. It's on, forever. That's it. Don't debate it. It's over. Like, there's people in this room that literally, go look at YouTube, there's people literally on TV saying the internet was a fad. Do not be on the wrong side of history. Social media is not a fad. The word's going to change. We're going to call it cloud, mobile, humanization, I don't know, some shit like that. But the internet is what we're really talking about. And so now that we have all this context, here's something that happens. Our language, the way we communicate, is changing. Stick with me. We all sit here and agree that the music industry was disrupted by technology, right? It looks a whole lot different. Publishing. This book that you have in front of you, the last book I ever write with a publisher. Why should I share it direct with you? I'll go direct to Kindle or iPad or something else. I don't need to share it. Publishing has been transformed. It's over. It's now just a matter of time. 10 years ago, in one of my first keynotes, because I was talking about e-commerce and shipping and email, I said that the post office was out of business, to which I got booed. I'm a little more popular nowadays than I was back then. People literally thought I was an idiot, but we can see that that model doesn't sustain itself because, do you guys remember email? You guys remember email 1998, 1997? Do you remember how much you loved it? We made fucking movies about this. You got mail. I mean, we fucking loved email. Some of the older people in the crowd can tell you, remember? We loved it. I was like, shit, I better send as many emails as possible right now because we're going to charge for this shit. This can't be free. We loved it. How do you guys like email now? You know why? Because one other thing I want you to leave with here today. Being one, and being a very proud one, the reason we don't like email anymore is because marketers ruin everything. We do. I know, because I try to ruin everything. And by the way, everything I wrote, I'm devastated I didn't do this. I think we're going to another printing, so I'm going to add it. I'm devastated that my last page of this book didn't say, and oh, by the way, everything I wrote about will be ruined in 5 years. Everything I'm about to talk to you about in the rest of this talk will be ruined. You've got a moment in time. The social media opportunity is very limited because for the first 5 years, which is where I did it, it was authentic. It was very easy to be authentic. Now, the education of the value of it is becoming more transparent. I started a company called Vaynerchuk with my brother 3 years ago, and our clients like PepsiCo and GE and Green Mountain Coffee, big boy companies, big girl companies, real companies, they see the value. They're starting to understand the ROI, the lifetime value, because things are corroding. Open rates in email in America since the middle of 2009 are down 20%. That's a catastrophe. That's a real number. Why? Marketers ruin everything. Remember 2 years ago when you couldn't wait to get $40 worth of sushi for 20 bucks? Remember when you couldn't wait to get that spot treatment that was 60 for 30? And we were all signing up for Living Social and Daily Candy and Groupon and all these sites? Now, if they offer you $1 million room for 800 bucks, you don't give a shit, you're just deleting all that spam. So as everything corrodes around us that we used traditionally to get to consumers, do you know what click-through rates on banner ads in 1994 were? 70%. Do you know what they are now? 0.0000. Do you know that there's studies that say most of us can't even see the right side of a website because we know that that's where ads are and we've literally been trained to tune it out? I mean, there are major things going on, my friends. I mean, we know this. We're living with people that act differently. How many people here watch television with at least one other screen in front of them, a phone, an iPad, or a laptop? Raise your hands. Probably 75% of the people here. So why are commercials not doing call to actions? Why are they not sending me to Facebook right then and there to do something and induce all my other friends? It's the creative that's a problem. I mean, the reality of the marketplace is changing from... How many of you in here watch television with two screens? Phone, iPad, or phone, and laptop, or laptop and iPad? Raise your hands, don't lie. Raise them high, be proud. I do, you too. Amazing. Maybe 25% of you. How many people here watch television with 3 screens in front of them? iPad, phone, and laptop. Raise your hands high. I
haven't done that one yet.
The 30 of you are sick.
Just never heard you say that.
Things are changing. Culture's changing. We're not adapting. Most people here are continuing to do what they've always done, and that's okay. It's good. AdWords has worked for me. What happens when Google's in trouble? What happens when everyday SEO and SEM are less valuable than they were before. You know what my Google was? 2000. When I searched something, the first page was what I wanted. It was a dramatically better product. But what has happened since then? SEO experts, black hat, this and that. That's why Google Plus, if you pay very close attention to Google, is already showing you your friends that plus something when you're doing search. Because you are going to trust Aunt Fran, and you're going to trust your friend Johnny, or the context you have with me as being a wine expert, much more than you're going to trust a search engine. Our social graph is going to dictate the things we buy. And the way we communicate, as I said earlier, has changed. Did you ever think you were going to write LOL to anybody? Have you looked at what's happened to grammar? Are there any English teachers in the room? Raise your hands. I am so sorry. Shit is nasty out there. People can't spell, and they're like proud. As somebody who can't spell, I'm thrilled, but still. We are now communicating in micro thoughts. The way we now talk has shifted. The record industry has been disrupted by technology. Publishing has been disrupted by technology. But the single biggest thing, my friends, that is being disrupted right now is communication. The way we talk to each other, the way we communicate, and that is the absolute fiber of how we buy shit and what services we use. And what else is fascinating to me is that every one of you here have seen something in your Facebook stream or your Twitter stream that nobody in the world would have picked up the phone and even called one person about. Think about the things you've seen in your Facebook wall, even today or yesterday. Nobody's picking up the phone and calling somebody and saying, Snickers from the freezer are delish. Or, if I wear my Tom's shoes today, I'll be the shit. People did not pick up the phone and call one friend about those crazy micro thoughts that we're now putting out there. Now we're putting it out to everybody. And because your social graph is bigger, and you've got context of people you went to high school with, and grammar school with, or were friends with when you lived in Pittsburgh, since they have context for you, when they say Snickers are delicious, and when you're going to 7-Eleven 2 days later, and you don't know why you're buying a Snickers, let me help you, because Bill from Pittsburgh said it was delish. And this is happening every day, and at scale. Every day, this is happening at scale, more and more, and your 8 to 12 hours of attention that you can allocate to be marketed to in the world, every day, more and more of that is being spent on these platforms. And they corrode at the other places. You guys, how many people here throw away all their direct mail? You get junk mail and just fucking throw it away, you little shit.
Love this guy.
80% of you. How many people here, don't lie, because I'll raise my hand. How many people here have marketed using direct mail in the last 24 months? Raise your hands. You know, but it's something you're comfortable with, you get some traction. It's like a TV adage or the other things you hear about advertising. I know 50% of what I spend is going to waste. I just don't know which 50%. I laugh when people talk about the ROI of social media because the Silicon Valley friends I have, the data nerds, the ones that beat me and now I became friends with them because if you can't beat them, join them, those guys, they laugh at the way marketing has been looked at for the last 70 years. I promise you, we will look back at the last 70, 80 years, television ads, radio ads, direct mail, print, as the dark ages of marketing. When we didn't actually know the data, when we were guessing. We have the data now. The data, Nielsen ratings? Really? Really? There's like 8,000 people that have a Nielsen box that represents every one of us. And then on top of that, they actually send them surveys. Remember Scantrons, those fucking Scantrons? People fill that out like, yeah, watch the fucking 18. No, you didn't, did. Shut up. And so, we are living through the biggest culture shift of our time. You're feeling it. And people that have younger kids are like, shit, I don't even know what they're doing. You feel like they're not communicating. You're worried about your kids because they sit at home all day and talking instant messenger or Facebook, and you're like, they're not social, they're not getting out. They're dramatically more social than you. You remember all those Tuesday afternoons when you were in middle school, when you lived far away from your friends and your mom wasn't home to drive you somewhere? What were you social with? You went outside and fucking went on the swing, the tire swing on your tree. What were you social with? The tire in the fucking tree? You weren't social. Yes, I understand human communication, but let me tell you something. Robert, who's sitting right here, who has come to 2 book signings of mine in the Northwest. I saw him tweeting today. We hugged it out before I took the stage. We've probably spent I mean, I've given talks, and we probably spent 3 to 4 hours together of all time in the same room. But really, one-on-one, 15, 20, 30 minutes, all time. However, because of social media, I have tremendous context for him. I have a much bigger, deeper feeling for Robert than the far majority of people in here because of the communication and the way we communicated online. And I feel it. People that don't do it. I love when people say things about Facebook and Twitter or how you communicate or the real feelings in it when they don't actually use the product. How do you know? I know what it feels like. I know the context that I'm making with it. And we're living in a context war. How many people here use twitter.com/search every single day to search their business or their handle on Twitter? Raise your hands. I want to jump off the stage and kick 99% of you in your mouth with my shoe. Please do me one favor. Forget the texting and looking at how many people are driving and texting. Forget that I look way better in real life than I do in my pictures. Forget all those things that you're thinking right now. I want you to do one thing. Promise me that right after this talk, you will go to twitter.com/search and you will search your business or brand name. When you're done with that, because when I first started doing that, nobody knew who I was. I had to create context, and now I get thousands of that replies to Gary Vee, right? But after you do that, I want you to search your industry. See, what's happening is, my friends, is we're living in a cocktail party. What the web is a cocktail party right now. See, the last 15 years were about push marketing, right? It was what I'm doing now, giving a presentation. The skill set of giving a presentation versus working the room is a very different skill set. And right now, we have a web where you can work the room. When you're done here today, go to twitter.com/search. I want you to search your brand and your business. You'll be stunned at what you might find, considering 90% of you plus haven't done it. And 2, when you're done with that, I want you to search your genre, because that's what I had to do. When I first started Wine Library TV, I couldn't search Gary Vee. Nobody cared about me, nobody was talking to me, and Twitter was quite small, to be honest with you, it was 7. But I was searching Chardonnay, and Merlot, and Bordeaux, and Pinot Grigio. Every person in this room knows their industry. You know the words that are specific to your industry. Whether you're in B2B, real estate, whatever you're in, you know the words that are said. You know your expertise is. And I ask you, and I implore you to understand and not be a 19-year-old dude. Please be bigger than who you are. The way to win in social is to be bigger than who you are. When I was helping all those people with their wine questions, I wasn't linking back to winelibrary.com product pages and trying to sell. I wanted to be America's wine guy, not sell a couple of extra boxes of Pinot Grigio. And when you take that approach, when you pay forward, the reason you love your parents is because they love you first. When you take that approach with your consumers and actually build community and actually care about them, the lifetime value